Alright, so today I am taking apart the actual pieces after we unglued it yesterday. So right now I'm just starting with this back strip right here. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And there's a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of it, so it was a little hard to rip. Oops. And I ripped through the fabric on accident, but that's okay because we're not using this. So let's try to rip the stitches without poking through everything, but it's making it very difficult. Ow! And then I just poked myself with seam ripper, and it hurt. I don't see any blood yet though, so no blood, keep going. It's funny because I'm looking at this and ripping it apart and there's skipped stitches on it. It definitely makes me feel better about when I have skipped stitches because I can't just leave it alone. I have to go back and fix it. Even if it's vinyl and I have to rip through it. Hi Inga, how are you? Right. Okay, so we got most of this piece off. Just got one more line of stitching to do. So this strip is pretty much just an overlay to hide this line of zigzag stitches. I don't think I saw you yesterday, Inga. You missed the fun of tearing the shoe apart. And by fun, I mean it was a lot of work. Required much exertion. But that is one of the hardest parts of it, so at least it's over. It's okay. Now you're getting to the fun part anyway. So I'll show you the pieces that I was left with yesterday since you didn't see. So my shoe originally looked like this. This is just a pair that I got off of Amazon. It was like $18, some off-brand. And then when I took it apart, so now I have this, the rubber sole and the toe cap. I've got the tongue. I've got the like heel stabilizer piece. I've got the bottom sole of the shoe. And then I have this exterior piece of the shoe that I'm ripping apart right now. So let me finish this one thing. Ow! Man! That's the second time I poked myself with the seam ripper today. I've never done that before. Michelle, it's actually not bad, which is why I decided that I was going to keep going with it today. Thank you. So, okay, so I ripped the stitches off of this strip right here. So it's an overlay that hides this joining zigzag stitch. Let me hold it up. Which connects the left part of the shoe and the right part of the shoe for the exterior. Okay, so sit on that. And then let's look at how this is constructed. So let's rip apart these stitches that are holding the middle of the exterior and interior together. So now we have that. And then do the same thing with the other side. And then I forgot how I did this with the other one because I don't want to sit here and have to remove all of these grommets in order to get the two pieces apart because the grommets are holding it together. So I mean, I guess we can trace and see how it works from there by folding the other piece up and out of the way so that we can get the right shape. But I do have my iron turned on. I'm going to iron this out to be as straight as possible to get rid of some of this curve. So I'm just grabbing a Teflon sheet and putting it on top so none of that adhesive gets on my iron. And I just plopped it on there and didn't really care if it was straight or not because I want the heat to kind of soften it up and make it a little more pliable. So right now it's warm and I can kind of stretch it out a little bit and help flatten it out. And then I can go back with my iron and give it a good press to get it as straight as possible. So, alright, I think that's pretty good. So we're done with this for now. So I have cardstock. Just plain cardstock, whatever you want to use, whatever color you want to use is fine. If you plan on doing something that is fussy cut, like you want to use a fabric and fussy cut it, I would recommend tracing it on a piece of clear template. So I've used them in a couple of my videos before. I had like the thinner clear template that I just got off Amazon, and then, or you can use like the flexible plastic cutting boards from Dollar Tree. Those are also very, very useful as well. So I'm starting with a pencil, and I'm just going to line it up. I'm going to grab a clip and, well, let's grab two clips and hold this together. And so now you're just going to go ahead and literally trace around the piece. So try to keep it as flat as you can. And get as much detail as you can within reason. So I definitely want to get these divots that are at this part that I'm tracing right now, but I don't need to get like, you know, like right here is not exactly straight, so it's not gonna make much of a difference to get super exact on that spot. So it's just carved out so that there is less bulk at the toe part of your shoe when you're wearing it. Okay, so after I traced it, this is what I get. Would you expect that a piece that looked like this, sorry I'm trying to like hold it up to the light and let you see it at the same time. It looks like a very uniform stalk of broccoli or a really thick palm tree. But would you expect that this would be what the tongue looked like? Because I didn't until I took this apart. So then what I do from here is that I kind of just write down what each like different parts of the shoe is, so that it helps me with the reconstruction. So like here around the perimeter of the shoe, I can just take a note, like I can take a marker. Let me grab one real quick. So I'm going to take this teal marker and kind of just scribble some lines around the perimeter. And this is my overcast stitching. So this is to remind me that this part of the tongue has overcast stitching and not the rest of it. So I can even write overcast / serge, because I'm probably just going to use my serger instead. And then we have down here, which this part right here, you can kind of see it's like eye-shaped, like an eyeball, eyelid, whatever. This part is the part that actually adhered to the toe cap, the rubber toe cap. So it is shaped, so you kind of try to look at it, and okay, so the points of the eyes start at where this backwards L cutout is. So right here, and then it's gonna go up an arc over to the other side, and then it pretty much just follows the curve of the toe. And let's just grab a ruler to check. It's about 5/8 of an inch away from the widest, or from the tallest part. So if this is the tallest part, you know, these parts right here, we want to go to 5/8, then that's going to be like that. We're just going to connect the dashes that I made. Okay, so this is the part that is connecting to the rubber toe. I have a hole punch. How do you use it to remove the grommets? I don't think I've ever done that. Usually I just take pliers and I pry them apart. So this part is adheres to rubber toe cap. And then this part down here wraps around bottom of toes, I guess you could say. So this piece is going to be the tongue, and then you've got this that adheres to it, and then this weird florally part wraps over and is on the actual bottom of the shoe. So we have this piece, and this is going to be the tongue of the shoe, and you will need one exterior and one interior. So this piece does not have a seam allowance, so we don't have to worry about that because there is no seam, because this is not sewn together at the tip, it's just glued together. So what I might do when I do this is use some Wonder Web. Is that what it's called? Wonder Under? Fusible web. And just kind of fuse these two pieces together so that they are stuck together. So it's like two-sided fusible tape, I guess you could say. It's Pellon Wonder Under Wonder Web. Wonder something. I'm just going to put one fusible web. Okay, so we have this piece drawn, and we will move on. So this is the heel stabilizer part that we had already taken apart, and we don't really need to trace this part because we're going to use this exact same part. So we'll put that one aside. Let me grab a new sheet of paper. And here is where it gets a little fun. So let me, let's go ahead and take out these zigzag stitches. Then I can also take this part, and this can go ahead and, so this is a rectangle, we don't have to draw it, we can just measure it. So it is going to be, it's 5 inches, so let me write that down because it doesn't actually need to be a pattern piece. So the heel overlay needs to be 5 inches tall times, let's see what the width of it is. The width is 3 and 3, God, I can't talk today, 3/4 of an inch. So, but it is made like we do our strap connectors in bag making, where these two ends are folded in where the raw edges meet, so it's doubled up. It's not folded over again, it's just folded over the once. So including our folding over, that's going to be 1.5 inches, because it's going to be the 3/4 inch width times 2 for the folding over. So it's going to be 5 inches times 1.5 inches. And then we're done with that piece. And then now we have this. So, oh, this is how I did it last time, I think. No. How did I get this apart? Okay, so I am going to separate the blue exterior from the white interior as much as I can, because of the grommets, and I'm not going to take them apart. So flatten this out, and I'm going to make sure that my bottom is lined up to the bottom of the paper, and then just trace around. And when you get to the top of where that piece is, don't draw the line over here yet, because there's a seam allowance there. So we're going to measure and add the seam allowance to that. Same with right here. So I'm going to switch back to my pencil, and let's just trace around the rest of this top. So the rest of the shoe has a seam allowance because the exterior and the interior are sewn together and then it's flipped out. So I'm trying to see if, so you can kind of see right here where there's a seam allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/4 inch seam allowance, just because it is a shoe and I don't want it to be too bulky with too thick of a seam. So I'm just taking my ruler, making marks and following that down. Okay, so that's a very choppy line, but you can smooth it out. Then let's connect this. And so from here, which is where it kind of caves in a little bit, which is right here on the heel of the shoe. See how it kind of goes in a little bit? So that is going to be the layer that only has the exterior, because the exterior is longer than the interior. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line across. So this bottom part right here, that is only the exterior that is sticking out. Well, the exterior and it's interfacing. So this whole rest of it you can use for your interfacing, or your interfacing, your exterior, and your interior. So all with this one piece. So I am just going to go ahead and mark inside here that this is a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This bottom part is exterior plus interfacing only. And that is the left side of the shoe. Left side of shoe. So for this you will need to cut one exterior, one interfacing, and one interior. Additionally, we are going to take where these holes are and let's mark that as well. So line up the piece with the seam allowance line, not the line that we're going to cut at. So the original line, and I'm just going to take my marker and draw little circles in the grommets. So these notate where my grommets go. And then we have our stitching. So I'm going to switch to a different color for stitch lines. So we are going to obviously be stitching along the seam allowance, and that's going to be a double row of stitching. So I'm just making really quick and messy dashes, kind of going and following the curve of the shoe. And then we have the line that goes under the grommets. So it cuts in from about here, and then you have another double line of stitching that follows your grommets. And then it ends at after the first grommet, and it just kind of goes to a point right here. So I'll show you what I have so far. So this is the mirror image of this because I traced it from the back. So I have the double line of stitches along the top, and then I have my grommet holes right here, and then there's another double line of stitching underneath it. So just like the actual shoe, your double line here and here. So that's where we are right now. And then obviously we're going to have a line of stitching at the bottom right here because you want to attach your pieces, your exterior and your interior together. So I'm not going to bother stitching or drawing that on here because that's kind of a given. But then right at the toe right here, we have these stitches right here. So it is about at underneath where that first grommet is, and then kind of follows the slant of the toe of the shoe. So we will do the same, and that is also a double line of stitching. And then you can't see because I had to rip it apart in order to get it to show, or get it to come apart. Where's my shoe? Oh. So this is why I keep one together. So we just drew these stitches right here. These. So you can't see the rest of them because they're down hidden in the shoe. But then we also have these stitches right here. So So those stitches are going through to the tongue of the shoe. So you can see right here, whoops, trying to angle it in a way that is easy to see, it's attached to the actual tongue. So I'm going to draw another set of 2 dashes to create a triangle shape. Right here, this is a little triangle, and this line attaches to the tongue. So again, take my marker and I'm going to just draw an arrow to that side and put attaches to tongue. So that is basically it for that piece. And then we have the other side, which is the same, except you also have these 2 grommet holes right in the middle. So again, let's switch marker colors. I don't have another marker handy and I don't want to get up, so I'm going to use this pen. Line it back up. And just going to add those 2 grommets to one side. One side only. So you could go ahead and do another pattern piece for this side if you want to, but as I fold it in half, they are completely congruent and equal to each other, so why bother? You will just have to mirror the piece. So you'll have to mirror it, otherwise you will have exterior, interior, and then your exterior will be the wrong color and your interior will be the wrong color on the other side. And then I forgot to mention as well, so back here where the 2 blue sections met, it was zigzagged, but there's actual seam allowance for the interior part. Whoops, hang on. Let's see if I can. So see that, how there's an actual seam allowance here, but the blue that is wrapped around it didn't have a seam allowance. It was just held together by zigzag stitches next to each other. So I am going to draw another quarter line seam allowance. And this is going to be the interior only. So how I'm doing it is the way that best works for my brain, because I try to take as little steps as possible to do. Hey Deb! So you totally could do a separate piece for your interior, separate piece for your exterior, and that way you don't have all these extra notes that saying this is the interior only and this is the exterior only, and it gets confusing. So, and that is also another reason why I keep one whole shoe, so that I can take a look at how it's put together when I actually put it together, and then I keep the other part that I've already ripped out as whole as possible so that I can refer back to it. Ooh, excuse me. Let's see. So we did this piece, we did the tongue, we already did this exterior overlay heel piece as well. So let's talk about some fabric options. So the easiest thing to do is to go with canvas, right? Because it's a canvas shoe. So this is a canvas option, and this is one of my favorite prints from Blended Thread Fabrics. It is the Lagoon Graffiti Floral. So this particular base is 100% canvas. So it is thicker and more dense than regular cotton, like regular quilting cotton, but I'm still going to interface it. So everything that I'm using, no matter what it is, I'm still going to interface it to kind of help hold the threads together, because it's your shoe. It's going to go through a lot of movement and stress on the threads of the fabric, so let's help it as much as we can. And then this one is just a regular cotton. This is from Rifle Paper Company, and it's part of the, I believe this is part of the newest line, Garden Party. So super cute. I know I love the Rifle Paper Co. Like, I used to not like the prints, and the more I saw them, like, actually used on bags and stuff, they're so gorgeous. So this one is just quilting cotton. And then this one is also Rifle Paper, and this is the Canvas Linen Blend. So I don't know how detailed we can get on this camera, but if you can see, it's got more of a canvas look to it, as opposed to the smoothness of the quilting cotton. So if I was to use quilting cotton on the outside, I would do 2 layers of interfacing, probably, you know, whatever woven interfacing you're using. I wouldn't use anything thicker than that, because I think it would be too much, and it wouldn't allow the shoe to move with your foot. This one, I would use 1 layer of the woven interfacing, same with the canvas. So the other thing that we can do is cover it with Eau de Coat. I still have yet to actually find my bottle of Eau de Coat, and it's been over a week since I've seen it. Like, I used it recently, and then I don't know where it went after that. So I might have to bite the bullet and just take one out of my stock. So I do have it in my shop that will be reopening, so you can get it there. But I know I haven't really used Eau de Coat in any of my videos with you, so when we come back next time to do the actual pattern pieces, I will have Eau de Coat ready for application so that we can kind of go through those steps together. So we're breaking this down into a lot of steps, just to, 1, keep them as short as possible. Delva, this is from Blended Thread Fabrics. It is a company that a custom fabric company that I partner with in Canada. and they do some super, super gorgeous prints. And I do have some that will be in my boxes. I don't know, I don't think I have any of this one though. This one came out before. And then when we do the eau de coat, it's going to need time to dry, obviously, so cutting out the pieces are just going to be a whole separate live on its own so that it has time to dry. The other thing is, obviously, we're going to need grommets. So I had to order some more from Cam Snaps, and I ordered the... What did I order? I don't know. I ordered one of the sizes. I ordered either 5.1 or 7 millimeters, and now it's driving me crazy because I don't know which one I did, and I might not have the correct die for it. It's the 5.1. But I managed to set it last time. Maybe I don't have to do the die. Anyways, yeah, so I have like these giant grommets. Like, they don't look very giant, but hold them up to the shoe. This particular print, Deb, no. Because this one came out before I had started ordering for my shop. So I have a whole tote full of canvas that I had bought from her just for the boxes. So maybe I will go through that at some point. But okay, so this is the grommet size that I have, and compare that with the grommet size that's on the shoe. It is big. So, I mean, it could be okay, but once you start putting them next to each other, you might not have a whole lot of room in between the grommets. So I would want to go with something smaller, which is why I had to place an order on Cam Snaps. Because you also have, like, I have this size, which is pretty much the same inside diameter. Except this one does not have washers, and I don't like the ones that don't have washers. So if you didn't know, grommets can come in like just like this. This kind does not have a washer, and it's just what it is, and then you crimp it, and then this bottom kind of crushes out, and that's how it's held in. Or you have the kind that actually has a washer. So this would be the grommet part right here, and then you have the washer, and they go in together like this, pretty easy, and then you crimp it together, and then it stays. So pretty much like a double cap rivet. But yeah, these are way too big to go on the shoe, so I had to order some off Cam Snaps, but they don't have rose gold, which is my favorite finish. They also don't have a rainbow. Rainbow grommets are really hard to find. I found some at Indolove Creation, but they are more bag making grommets, so they're a bigger size. So I can't get those for shoes. I don't know, Inga, like, I'm really confused with the term, because I feel like it was interchangeable, but maybe it's not, and maybe that's why I kept getting confused with trying to buy grommets and wondering where the washers were. Totally possible. Let's see, I think we covered everything. So we talked about shoe, material. We talked about eau de coat. We talked about interfacing. We made our pieces. Oh, you want to see some new thread that I got? So I have this pretty rainbow thread, and it is, I want to say Tex 40 or Tex 45. So it is more friendly for domestic machines. So I wound my bobbin. I haven't tested it out first. I wanted to test it out before I put it up for sale. Very limited on this one. I only ordered 8, and of course I'm using one of them, so I have 7 left for sale. I'm also going to put up, this will probably just be like on my Facebook page or something like that. I have a roll of Tex 70 nylon thread. This is Strong Bond by Amann, A-M-A-N-N. I got this from Sunny Sewing originally, and it is a huge spool, 3,500 meters, and I have not used very much of it because the machine that I was using it on did not like it. I haven't tried using this on my Juki yet, but I figure better safe than sorry. I'm just going to get rid of all my Tex 70 and try to sell it off to people that have industrial machines and can use it better, and I'm going to stick with Tex 45. I am also waiting for some samples from a supplier for thread. I asked for Tex 45 in bonded nylon and bonded polyester, so we'll see how that works out, and probably start with some basic colors first, see how that goes. Let's see. I don't think there was anything else. Oh, you want to see what I managed to work on today? I made a tank dress that is ruched along the sides. So this fabric is also, here, let me, bloop. There we go. Is from Blended Thread Fabrics as well. This is their bamboo jersey. And so it's like this awesome textured gray. And then it turns into like a rose gold glitter bottom. But it's not actual glitter. It just looks like glitter. It's printed. But so it's a tank dress. Here's that's my neckline, and then I cut some of the rose gold part to do the armbands, and then the sides are ruched with straps at the bottom where you can adjust it. You can make it shorter, you can make it longer, you can do whatever you want with them. But I'm very excited to try this one out because bamboo is really nice when it's hot out, and it's only one piece of clothing. I like to put on one piece of clothing and not have to think about tops and bottoms and do these things match and yada yada yada. So here goes this. My black woven top did not work out so well due to fit issues. So I need to do some Googling and see what I need to fix with that. And I think my next project's going to be maybe some swimwear. It's going to be my first one. So, alright everybody, thank you for joining. The next one that I'm doing, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Depends on how I do with the Odacoat, but maybe Wednesday. We will cut through the pattern pieces for the shoe. And if you're not on Emmeline Groups or Emmeline Bags Facebook group, join it, because I have a sew along that was just announced for the Glacier bag starting next Monday. So, alright everybody, have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.